What is going on, Beamer fans? Welcome back to Beamer Review. For today's video, we're going to be going over how to customize our BMW screen. If this is your first time on this YouTube channel, what we do here is teach you everything there is to know about BMWs. So if you have a BMW or plan on getting one and you want to learn everything there is to know about it, subscribe to the channel because we put out content every single week. Also, when you are done watching the video, we do have links right down below that go to BMW car mats, floor mats. We do have some really cool BMW key fob covers designed to fit this BMW key fob. So if you need some key fob covers or some BMW floor mats, the link for those are right down below, so definitely check that out at the end of the video. Without further ado, let's go ahead and get started. So for today's video, all the new BMWs are coming out with this brand new curved display, and there are so many different ways to customize this. So for today's video, we're gonna be going over just that. This specific operation system that we have here today is gonna be iDrive 8.5. If you have one of the brand new BMWs, such as the brand new X5, brand new X7, the brand new 5 Series like we're in today, more likely than not, you're gonna have BMW 8.5. But if you do have iDrive 8 or iDrive 9, many of these features are going to work the same way, so don't worry. So let's go ahead and get started. We're going to be going from left to right and going over the different ways that you can completely customize the screen. So first off and foremost, we do have our BMW instrument cluster, which is going to be this section right here on the driver's side. And yes, there are some different ways to customize this, so we're going to go ahead and get started. Quick overview on what's going on here. This 390 that we have here is how many miles we can drive in between the next fill up. We have our time. We have how fast we're going. We have our current mile per hour. Right down here just shows the seatbelt situation within the vehicle. We have our speed limit sign right there. What gear we are currently in right over here. Our outside temperature, yes, it is really hot today. I'm already sweating. And right over here we have our engine temperature. This section right here, you're gonna see that there are a couple different ways to change this up, but this just shows how much of the vehicle's power that you are using. We're also gonna quickly dive into our head-up display, which this vehicle has. There are gonna be a couple different ways that you can customize that too. So let's go ahead and do it. So the first thing you need to know is gonna be about this little guy right over here. Your vehicle is either gonna have this gear icon or it is gonna have this hamburger icon that looks like this, placed right over here. So this is what you wanna click on in order to bring up these 3 boxes, and what you want to do is just use this scrolling knob right here to cycle through everything. So you can see that what I did was I pressed on this first. That brings up these 3 little boxes, and then you use this little guy right over here to cycle through the different types of content. So our first one that we had here was just showing our speed limit. Nothing too crazy there. That is what that does. If you go down one, you're gonna see our trip computer. That right there shows how many miles we have currently on the vehicle. The feature on the right here shows our trip computer. Now this is pretty important because so many people do not know how to reset their trip computer. I would say about 90% of the owners do not know how to do this, so this is very important. So the way that you reset this back to 0 is by holding down the scrolling knob. So if you hold this down, you're gonna see that 94.6 just went down to 0. That is how you reset the trip computer. Again, you would only find that out in the manual. It is a really weird way to do it, but yes, holding down this knob right here all the way down for about a few seconds resets the trip computer back to 0. That is how you do that. Also, if I press on the gear icon again, we're just gonna cycle through our other pieces of content. We have our assisted view here that is gonna show some vehicles that are gonna be traveling along the sides. You can customize it to that. We have a really cool augmented view here, which shows our front camera at all times. If we go down one, we're gonna see our route preview. Right now you see a compass, but if we were using our BMW maps to get us somewhere, you would actually see the arrows, the route previews, and directions pop up here too. Next one down, we have our map. So you can customize it to that if you like, to show your BMW map. Keep in mind, you can also use it for Apple Maps if you have an iPhone. If you have an Android phone, you could use it for Google Maps as well. Right here, we have our G-force meter. So many people do not know what this is. This is probably the least menu item that is used. All this really shows is your G-forces whenever you're driving the vehicle really aggressively. It is a sport meter. Again, not many people use that. I personally do like it, so I do see myself using it every now and then. This one is probably where I would keep mine. This one shows our music, which is our last one here too that you can select from. So right over here we have our music. Now I currently listen to music quite a bit, and this very last one we have here is going to be for music. So many people would see themselves using this one. You can have whatever is playing on the media pop up right here smack dab in the middle, letting you know what is playing. This is a really convenient one. And so those are all the different types of content on this leftmost square that we have here. That's how you can customize customize the menu item. You can customize the layout. So the way that I just went over to the right side was clicking on this to the right. You can see our layout is right over here. There's 3 different options for that. Our first one here is going to be our most aggressive one. If you go into sport mode, you're also going to have this one pop up as well. What's different about this one is that you can see that the power band that we had here is gone, is now switched to a tachometer. So that's one difference you get with that. Again, it makes the whole thing look a lot more aggressive. Our next one down was our standard one. This is probably going to be the most common one used because you can get a good view of whatever is there in the middle. Our last one here is a nice simple view. This one just shows things like your fuel economy. You have our main content screen right here, and then you have your mile per hour or how fast you're going right over here. This one's a nice simple one. It is really futuristic in my opinion. I personally just like the middle one. So let's just go back into where it was before. This last one here, we have our heads-up display. Heads-up display is going to be that guy right there. I know it is kind of hard to see. Let's just do our best here. Our first menu item that we have here is our standard heads-up display view. If I go down to the next one, you're going to see this view right over here, which shows our compass or directional view. If you go down one after that, I know it keeps on disappearing for some reason. That's just the way that the frame rates are. This next one here shows our car or assisted view. Our next one down is a sport view, which can show horsepower and torque right over there. Kind of hard to see, I know. This, if you go use your gas or engine to speed up the throttle, you're gonna see the little wings on the left and right side go up and down. And this last one here is gonna be our reduced view. So reduced view will basically just show this little toolbar here, and that would keep it nice and consistent. And if you are not a big fan of the heads-up display, this one might be a good one for you because it'll just really stay out the way and it'll stay really down low on the windshield, so it won't interrupt. So yes, those are the options we have for our heads-up display here. Again, I was just going right here on the right, going all the way down to see all those different views, which were hard to see. I know somebody's gonna call that out, but that is how you customize your instrument cluster, which is this section right here on the screen. Again, that was done through this little gear icon, or if you have a hamburger icon located here, that's how you would cycle through all that. Now let's jump over to this side. And again, this is iDrive 8.5, hence why we have a cool widget box located right here. Depending on which iDrive you may have, if you have iDrive 8, you're gonna have the widgets that are going like this along the screen, going from left to right. Those you can click and drag and drop and reorder them. For this vehicle, again, iDrive 8.5, we have our widget box here. And the way that this one works is you could just go up and down. For some of these screens, if you see a little line that looks like that, you can cycle left and right too. So if you go like that, you can see some more icons or options doing that as well. If you keep going down, you're gonna see some cool things like your compass. You can see things like how the traffic is flowing. Right over here, you can see your position or compass as well. And over here, you can see a map as well. So if you want to switch this up to something else, you could just have your map right there. So those are the ways you can customize that. Here, we have our trip computer located here, and we have our live vehicle that is showing here. All that a live vehicle means is if you were driving the vehicle, you actually see this picture and interact with that too. Say for example, if I turn on my left turn signal using this little blinker here, you're gonna see it right there as well. You can see that right there. So that's what live vehicle is. Pretty cool. Going down one, you can see a really cool clock design that shows the actual words. And so those are your options that you can choose from there. Again, you can cycle this left and right as well, depending on whichever screen you're on. So you can customize that if you like. Now, the one that I would choose for this, that's a really good question, actually. Now, if you were to ask me what I would choose for this, I personally would choose this one right over here, which shows our values individual cents, because right here I can see what the average mile per gallon I'm doing is, and right over here I can see our trip computer, so I can measure our trip, and I can just quickly press on this to reset the trip if I needed to. So I personally would keep it on that. That's just me. You can choose whatever you want. This guy right here, which is called the stage, you can customize that too. So the way that you would do that, really hard to see, but you'll see a white line located right here on the right side. If you swipe that going to the left, you can see some more menu items pop up here. You have my modes, which the screen would change depending on if you go into sport mode, comfort mode, or eco mode, or even the really cool modes such as the expressive mode or relax mode. Those are all the newer modes that your vehicle may or may not have. Live vehicle, just like we saw before on that little screen here. If you were to turn on your left turn signal, you can see some things like that, or the right one, you can see the right one blink. You can also turn this around as well And then if the vehicle was moving, you would actually see the wheels move too. It's pretty cool. Last couple options we had here was media. I personally would keep media here because I do listen to music a lot or listen to podcasts a lot. So I personally would like to keep my media located right over here so it's nice and large and I can see exactly what the title is. So that is how I would customize that. So yes, everyone, that is a quick demonstration on how to customize our BMW curved display. Again, all the newer BMWs, they are coming out with this new curved display. So it's good to know all the different features and the ways that you can customize this, because you can tweak things around, switch things around, and get it exactly how you like it. Keep in mind, before you go ahead and do all this, you definitely want to make sure your BMW ID is set up, which is usually the first thing that gets done, which is going to be this guy here. You want to make sure that your BMW ID is logged in, ready to go, because then the customization that you do on the screens will actually save to your BMW ID. If you do it while you're in a guest profile, it will not save to your main profile, so keep that in mind. Just make sure you're logged into your BMW ID before you go ahead and start rearranging things and customizing things. Those are the different ways that you can customize our screens here. If you had any questions, write them down below. Again, if you needed BMW floor mats or key fob covers, the links for those are right down below. Fire away your questions. Hope you guys have a great day, and I will see you all for the next one.